Recording's going. Just get a live. I'll send this link out. I'm not online. I think my Wi-Fi extender's not working. Every now and again, I find the extenders, they just lose touch with the router.
Did you get an email from DVB Logic today?
I did, yeah.
About their little tuner?
Yeah, I haven't. There we go, I'm connecting. I haven't seen it. I haven't tried it. I haven't looked at this thing, but I did see the email. Right, come on. Surface can do it. There we go.
You guys were in build heaven last week, weren't you?
Yeah, that's right.
Unfortunately, not in time for the show, I guess.
No, because it was all Thursday, wasn't it?
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to listen to that yet, actually.
Send the link out. Right. Right, link out. So, Jason, good evening.
Good evening, Ian, and welcome everybody to the Unlimited Never-Ending Podcast, although we might decide to end it after an hour.
And more of that later. Welcome back. You had a birthday week off.
I did, yes. I was in the forest enjoying myself.
And
so, yeah, it was very good. Unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to listen to last week's show, so I hope you were kind to me while I was away.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Now we are trying to get Gary on the show from Redmond, but he sent us messages, but not answering the Skype call. So we'll keep trying. You never know. We may be able to get him on the at some point.
So I sent you all a birthday present last week with a mobile and a desktop build. So I hope you enjoyed that.
Yes, we very much did. So what we got. So we can talk about mobile and desktop builds. And, I've got both of them installed, and even on my Link 7, which is quite good. We can talk about the new dock that's available, or it might be included with the 950 XL. We'll talk about that. We'll be trying to get Gary to join us on the show. We'll talk about the new build, and we can talk about Windows 8 Media Pack. Being the thing thing of the past, and we've got some firmware updates, and we've got the pre-order availability of the 950. I think we had that last week. Actually, you weren't here, but we talked about that last week. So lots to talk about now. Recently Microsoft have done a lot of things really well, and they got the Insider program. They've got good press from the new Surface devices. The new Lumias have got some good press. Windows 10's doing well. So people are starting to really, think Microsoft's turned around. So what do they need to do? They need to really upset us again.
Absolutely, yeah. They need to do a U-turn that no one's going to appreciate.
So this broke today. Now I'm going to say that this is, as we record Tuesday night, I would not be surprised if the situation has changed by the time the show airs on Thursday. But anyway, what's the brouhaha about, and why are people upset?
Yes, absolutely. So I think it was last year, or it might have been early this year. I'm not sure exactly on timing, but Microsoft announced that Office 365 subscribers would be upgraded to unlimited storage of Microsoft OneDrive product, formerly SkyDrive. And there was also various other offers. So, for example, if you set your Windows Phone, well, in fact, any device to automatically back up photos to OneDrive, you got 15 gigabytes extra storage. I think I got 200 gigabytes storage with my Surface 2, which I think must be about to expire anytime soon. And so they basically announced that if you paid for Office 365, that you would get unlimited storage. And amazingly enough, people took them at their word. And I think some users, they quoted as having like 75 terabytes of storage, digital media, DVR files, I guess media center files, and obviously people like you and me have uploaded all our music files onto there, and now they're turning around and saying that, it's now going to be 5 gigabytes for everybody. 1 TB if you're an Office 365 subscriber. But I mean, interesting enough, I've always been grandfathered into the original 25 GB package, but even I'll be getting reduced down to 5 once my additional offers expire. So having just got all my music files and everything uploaded.
Oh, sounds like we've got Gary here as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello.
Oh,
Unlimited Gary.
Unlimited Gary. Yeah, Jason was just telling us about OneDrive. So let Jason finish his thoughts, and you listen, and then you can add your thoughts. So carry on, Jason.
Well, I can add one bit of breaking information on OneDrive if you like, quickly.
Oh, what did you just say? Ian?
Yeah.
If you've got, and this is not under NDA, if you've got Skype Music, it's not Skype Music. If you've got Groove Music Pass, your OneDrive subscription will stay the same.
But I mean, you already had a 200 gig from when you subscribed, didn't you?
Yeah, and that's actually still back grandfathered in. You won't that won't go away.
Right. Okay. So go on, Jason. Carry on then what you were saying. Then we'll come back to that.
Yeah. So rather than limited Office 365 Home, I think it's personal home or student is going to get 1 TB of storage, but pretty much if you're a non-Office 365 subscriber, you will be shrunk down to 5 GB within a kind of over the next kind of 12 months period. Initially, anything over your quota will be read only, and then finally after I think a year it will be removed. But I haven't read anything to do with Office 365 business plans. As far as I'm aware, they're staying unlimited.
Yeah. We don't. I don't think we really know about those yet. But I tell you, my biggest issue really is the fact that there was two things that I think that are changing. That I think the unlimited for OneDrive for Office 365. Yes, I understand that people get upset when they get offered OneDrive, free or offered unlimited and then it's reduced. But 1 TB is not that bad anyway. But the two items that I think are going to cause the pain, I think for most people, is the 15 gig initial going down to 5, and the 20 gig I think it was that you got for your 15 gig that you got for your switching your cloud backup for your phones on. The 15 gig to 5, I mean, I tell everybody, if you've got music, just stick it on OneDrive, and I think 5 for a lot of people won't cut it, will it?
No, I mean certainly not for a music collection. And like I say, I've always been grandfathered into the 25 gigabyte.
I think I've got about 25 gig of music, and I'm quite happy to have that all loaded. But without,
I mean, I'll put our family videos and everything on there. So
yeah, but I mean, I like to say to my kids, "Oh, don't bother, worrying about your music on your PCs or your phones or whatever. Just stick it on OneDrive, and then it'll sort itself out." But I think for most people, maybe that's not going to be an option anymore. And then the camera uproll, I always thought was great because I know my wife uses it. She doesn't realize she's using it, but I just switched it on for her because it's a nice little freebie and a good thing for like for iPhone users or Android users to get them into the Microsoft ecosystem.
I mean, if I go through my if I go through my OneDrive storage, I've got 3 15 gigabytes. So maybe I was mistaken. Maybe it wasn't 25, but 15 gigabytes that I've been grandfathered into. I've got a referral bonus of 0 because I've not recommended anybody. Everyone I know already has OneDrive. A loyalty bonus of 10 gigabytes. Groove Music Pass subscription of 100 gigabytes. Camera roll bonus of 15 gigabytes. A Bing bonus of 100 gigabytes that's valid until the 18th of Feb 2017. And my Surface bonus of 200 gig, which actually expired on the 3rd of November. So I've got a total of 240, and I'm using about 104 of that.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just a real shame. I think just that it's the bad PR that it gets, and the reason they say is because the people were sort of abusing it, but 76 gig or whatever. Well, they just limit it to 1 terabyte. Don't hit those 15 and 10 users. Did we lose Gary then?
Possibly.
Yes, we did. He's trying to get it back. I was just going to go to him as well. It's good timing. But I think that's the thing that I've been recommending it to everybody for music, and now that's going to be an issue as well. But I just got a feeling that this is really bad PR, and whether something will change on that. I mean, like I said, I understand that people are abusing it at 76, but if you offer unlimited, people will use it. So don't offer it unlimited. but a 1 terabyte upper limit doesn't seem, seems fine to me. But still give new users 15 gig. I don't see the problem in that, unless they're using unless it's purely an effort to monetize it and use to add Office 365 subscriptions. Gary, I was just going to come to you then. So you're there in the MVP summit with a lot of MVPs. So Microsoft really have got some bad press on there.
Oh yeah, it was the subject of breakfast this morning. I mean, I think there's a lot of people quite positive in supporting the fact that there needs to be some control over the usage of OneDrive. I think there's a lot of people feel that the performance of it is suffering because of certain people overloading it and using it too much. But I think generally this certainly the 20 gig to 5 gig drop is going to be pretty devastating for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's just that music. It's the music and the camera. I think.
Yeah. It's really difficult to talk about a few things because I've covered my NDA and I covered quite a few things here. But I think you're going to find there's some fairly heated discussions going on within Microsoft at the moment about. So I think that it's not everybody's going to be very happy about it.
Because particularly with obviously some of that storage space gets used by backups by Windows Phone, and I know that was one of the criticisms that iCloud came up to when it started off. That's got a lower limit of 5 gig, and you only need to back up 1 or 2 Apple devices, and that 5 gigabytes quickly disappears. But so I mean, it's not surprising. You give someone unlimited, and there will be the outlying cases that do take full advantage of that. So, I think,
as Ed Bott said, if you just say it's unlimited, people are going to think it's unlimited.
Yeah, but I know. I mean, I always assumed that the OneDrive platform was built on the latest Windows Server technology, and obviously one of the big things that was touted with Server 2012 was the ability to deduplicate files at like the block level, and so that's how I always thought they were achieving the unlimited. But the problem with people uploading lots of videos, there might be too many differences in those files to be able to get a good deduplication level.
But I mean, it seems to me if that really was the reason, then you can easily put you can change it to a 1 terabyte limit, and the 15 gig to 5 gig just seems measly now. It's just
I think that's the worst bit. I think that's the worst bit.
Yeah.
The other thing as well, which a lot of the other services use. So initially Microsoft had this Music Match service as part of what was then Xbox Music, whereby a song you owned got matched to the cloud and that got added into your library, which meant they didn't have to store 100 different copies of the same track. Now they got away with that. They did away with that when they allowed you to upload your own music. So in some ways, I think that was a bit of a, that's an opportunity for them to offer unlimited music storage with Music Match type services. But then, as I found, the problem is that songs that match and maybe then get taken out due to licensing. So then you're stuck without your music. So I was a bit 50-50 on which way it works. But at the same time, I mean, you can think if you need a lot of storage, really, it's $7.99 a month for Office 365 Home, which is for 5 users, so that's 5 terabytes. That's not a ridiculous amount of money.
No, that's true.
No, and I think that's probably,
and particularly that includes Office as well, of course. So
yeah, I think there's a personal one in there that's £79 or £49 for the year.
Yeah,
and that gives you a single copy as well. So I think there are, if you really are serious, then there's no problem getting around it. And as soon as you've got that 1 terabyte limit. I just wish the introductory offers were better, so that you can come into it and not be worried. I mean, like I said, I've got my kids just to upload all their music to OneDrive, and they don't have a huge amount of music. Some of it they've got of mine, some of their own, but it's the kind of thing as once they've started to use it and their collection grows, they'll stay with it and they'll use Groove instead of using Google Music or Spotify or whatever. And I think that this would just be a roadblock, and you don't. Yeah. You put a roadblock in like this, they'll just use something else. They'll use Spotify. They already use Spotify because it's easy, and just putting any excuse in it kind of just just can't be bothered. So
Mm.
Yeah.
I think-
I have a feeling there's a few teams around here who feel that like maybe a bomb's been dropped on them as well. In terms of
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I know where you're coming from there. I mean, I know you can't say anything, but I know the Groove Music team must be very upset because that's one of their big selling features of with Windows 10 and Groove Music. It all links together, and you use OneDrive. And I think if I with that team, I'd be rightly upset by this change. But like I said to Jason before you jumped on, Guy, I said. I wouldn't be surprised if the situation's changed by the time this goes live between Tuesday and Thursday. I imagine there's a lot of internal
There's always
debate going on.
Mm. I think also, but playing
there's
devil's advocate. Actually, I mean, on a free plan, you only got 15 gigabytes now, so it's not necessarily you're not really going to upload a huge record collection or video collection with 15 gigabytes. So it's only, I say only in quotes, it's only a 10 gigabyte reduction. So probably if you were a real serious OneDrive user anyway, you were probably paying for extra storage either through Office 365, in which case, like you said, Ian, a terabyte's not actually that, it's not that bad. Probably would meet the, using the 80/20 rule, that would probably be enough for 80% of the users. So, and you can still buy additional storage. I know the current tiers are 100 gig and 200 gig, which I think are changing. But 200 gigabytes is $3.99 a month, and as you've quite rightly said, Ian, you might as well pay $4.99 a month and go for the Office 365 Personal.
Yeah,
I think that's. Sorry, I was just jumping in there because both those tiers are disappearing.
Yeah,
yes,
you can only buy the lower tier now or buy Office, so it makes much more sense to go straight to Office.
Yes, yeah.
50 gig now is the US price is $199 per month for 50 gig, and they're going to get rid of the 100 and the 200 gig, and then like you said, you just go to just go to the OneDrive version, so to the Office 365 version, and the camera storage bonus is going completely as well.
I mean, that is a shame because Microsoft have said they want to be on every platform, and that's a good encouragement to get someone on iOS or Android to use OneDrive. If they get an inclusive 15 gigabyte camera roll, then that's an incentive to use it.
Yeah. I mean, I found iCloud almost useless by the time you've got, like you mentioned, with your backups and things. It's just not useless. You just don't bother with it at all unless you're really going to either pay or whatever. And I think it was just a good way of bringing somebody into Windows or into Microsoft. But I wouldn't surprise me if the situation's changed. But very negative reaction from around just about everywhere, really. When Microsoft seems to be doing a lot right recently, and this just seems to go in the opposite direction.
Yes.
Yeah. So we'll see if the situation changes. Go ahead, Guy.
I was just saying, so they are monitoring things very close these days. So I think they'll know it's out there. The feedback's out there.
Yeah, I mean, they must have known. I'm surprised they didn't just bung this announcement out on a Friday evening, last thing before everybody goes home. They didn't save it for that. They've done it for the start of the week.
Especially when they've got a lot of vocal MVPs on site. Seems a bit strange.
Yeah, and I bet it's hard to track down who made the decision as well. I bet.
Yeah. I think there was definitely something like that with. I've been talking to fairly senior management out here, and not many of them seem to know where the decision had actually come from.
Yeah, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised to see things change, but it's good to know the old Microsoft is there in the background, the one we know and love.
That's.
Oh, he's gone again.
Vanished.
He's vanished now.
It's really cut off under NDA.
That's right. He was just about to tell us about something that OneDrive's been shot.
Absolutely. He was just about to tell us about Windows 11.
Yeah, that's right. So anyway, it's not a good situation. Unless I think things could possibly change, and I'm sure we'll find out. So now we did have 2 builds last week. It's a bit. Oh, Gary's back with us.
Yeah, where did you get to? What I was saying?
I don't know. We were just kind of wrapping up on that, really. But yeah, I think they are listening, and things may change.
Yeah, yeah. And I was going to say there's a lot. There might be some negatives today, but some of the stuff I've heard today, and I am tied by the NDA, so I can't say what I've heard. But I think people are going to be really excited about it over the next 6 months.
Yeah, oh, that'll be good. I mean, they're doing a lot of good work at the moment. And there is a good comment from Chippy in the chat room saying that it should be happy if OneDrive performance improves, and that's maybe one of the issues with these large data sets that people are doing has been hitting performance, and that's why they've had to take action. So for those that are paying, we should get a better service.
Yeah, I was told some of the MVPs here, and they've heard tales of people constantly copying terabytes of data up over and basically clogging, not so much the whole data sets, because obviously they're fine in terms of much data, but the lines into them. So,
you can assure them that's not me.
Yeah,
definitely. Definitely not. Yeah, definitely not. I have used you as an example several times this week, Jason, with your bandwidth.
Thanks very much. I was just going to say, Gary, you talk about things coming up the next 6 months. Blimey, we can barely wait 2 days for a new build. So how are we supposed to wait 6 months?
Yeah, you'll have to wait a few more hours at least for a new build. Gabe was too busy talking to us this morning.
Yeah, well, it kind of. I think it was on Twitter. He did hint there might be one later in the week, but I don't think it's going to be anything imminent.
Yeah. I have seen Gabe's big red button now.
Have you?
That's fun.
Yeah, and you've heard about Ian giving people headaches.
Yes. American MVPs. What can I tell you?
Like I said, they need to watch a few Game of Thrones, and then I'm from Winterfell, and well, actually, I'm not, because I was born in Hampshire, but
you've acquired that northern accent over time, haven't you?
Yeah, that's right.
Hybrid.
Yeah, that's right. Which is the theme of Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Now we're just going on to talk about builds there. So Gabe kind of teased that it said they were going to do something they hadn't done before, which turned out to be release 2 builds on the same day, one for phone and one for PC. It's not the same build, but they did release 2 builds. Now, the PC version didn't have a huge amount of changes to, but it did have one significant one, which is the cast medium function now works, and actually works really well. So I did have a few issues getting it going at first, but it actually works really well. So we've talked about this previously, but they only work with pictures. So you go in with the new build with Edge browser, go onto a page with media on it, music, video, or pictures, and then from the menu you can do cast to, and it will send it to a Miracast device or a DLNA receiver, and it works best with the mouse actually, because it knows you kind of click on or hover over what you want to beam. So if it's multiple media on one page, it can get a bit confused, but it works very well on pages with not much content, so just a few things to beam. So either just a video like a YouTube page, or music playing or something like that. But it actually works really well, and I got it to play to onto my TV. I got it played onto Xbox, got to Windows Media Player, and it all works through the browser. And I think it's a really nice feature.
Yeah, I must admit, I haven't given it a try. I haven't got anything to cast it to, so
yeah, but it works. But I've been playing around with it, and I'll say YouTube video. You go onto YouTube video, and you just do the cast to, and you can send it to your TV, or if it's got DLNA, or your Xbox One, or another PC on the network. It works really well. And today, and I'm going to write this up, I actually got it working with Groove Music, the web version of Groove Music.
Well, the web version, yeah, because I made the point that you could actually do it for the web version, but you can't do it for the app today, so, which is. I'm sure they'll sort.
Yeah, that's one thing that's really missing. I've got incoming calls on my Microsoft band from you, Gary. Skype has just caught up.
Skype can't really catch because I've got an incoming call from you as well. So I just killed that. So hopefully we're now synchronized.
Yeah. So yeah, so I tried the Groove Music, and it works surprisingly well. You just go through the browser onto Groove Music, and then you go Cast 2 and just send it to a DNA player, and it works. I mean, I think it's gone. Yeah. The video doesn't work with protected content like Netflix as you would expect, but I didn't expect the Groove Music subscription content to play either. I thought that maybe it would play my own music, but not play stuff from the store or stuff that I don't own through and just listening through the subscription. But it actually worked pretty well.
Yeah, it's I've forgotten. I keep forgetting the Xbox One. It can be a Miracast target.
Yeah, but it's Miracast or DLNA.
I really must give that a try.
So if you've got another PC with Windows Media Player is enough, and you don't have to use Miracast. You can use DLNA, which actually is better than Miracast really for some things, like especially music, because music's just sending the screen. Whereas with Groove, what I was able to do was start the music playback off and just carry on. I can use the PC for something else then, if it's just playing on a tab in the Edge browser. So I think that works really well. So that's new. Think of what else was new in there. There wasn't a huge amount of changes. There was a few tweaks. I'll have to find the blog post. But and I previously mentioned that I didn't get it working on my Link 7 because it's blue screening due to that small screen size issue. I was surprised that they've left that bug in actually, but I got it to work on Link 7 by keeping it in landscape mode and by forcing it in landscape mode, and that worked fine. Go on, Gary.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the workaround I'd found as well, if doing it in landscape.
Yeah,
I think they are. It's an odd bug, that one. I think that they call it an edge.
Yeah, I think
there must be quite a few of us on the Edge.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but I think they can get that working. I just try to think what else was new in the PC build. You can use Cortana inside PDFs in the Edge browser, and they updated the Xbox app. And there's a few bug fixes and things like that in it. But overall, it feels pretty good, actually. I've got you very used to this Threshold 2 build now with the extra row of tiles and everything else. So I think it's pretty close to being release version for that now. And I'm pretty sure that that's going to be public in the next couple of weeks, isn't it?
Yeah, the only I haven't actually managed to try this build yet. Well, that's not quite true. I've got it installed on our desktop, but I've put my Surface into the slow ring because I read that if you upgrade to the new build, that any VMs in a saved state will not start. So before I can upgrade my Surface Pro 3, I've got all my literally my 4 SQL clusters, so about almost 10 VMs all in a saved state. So I need to go through and boot them all up, and then actually shut them down before I can do the upgrade.
Right. Yeah. I'm pretty sure the release version will be maybe even this week, or maybe the next week, that we'll get sort of what the final. They probably won't even call it. It'll be like they did with 10.2.40. It was never actually officially called the final version. We just knew it was, and I think it'll be something similar with that this time.
Yeah.
But it does. I'm not going to put it on the Surface, but it feels good enough to put on the Surface, and the upgrade process on the last few builds has been quite good as well. So you've not had to roll back or anything like that. So I think that's been pretty good, really.
Yeah, I mean, I took the plunge with what was it, build 10565, because I read such good things about it, and it's been working really well on my Surface Pro 3. Like I said, the only reason I haven't gone to the latest one is for that Hyper-V reason. But yeah, I think it'd be interesting to see what happens. I think there's some talk about maybe that coming out quite soon, and I think they've even said that for normal consumers it'll actually just go through Windows Update, so they actually won't get a full new build.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to try that. I'm surprised that they're going to push that out without putting insiders on that first, really. Because they did do that, didn't they? Wasn't it when 10.2.40 came out? Didn't they stop you? I can't remember what they wanted to test the installation process, didn't they? And I remember they stopped the new builds going out at some point so they could test that. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, it was that if you didn't have an insider build installed already, you couldn't go straight from Windows 8.1 to it.
Right.
And once they switched the servers over, you couldn't then install unless you had an ISO. You couldn't actually download. I think they stopped the Windows Insider's keys working. So What was interesting though was actually when we got that 10240 build, the watermark had gone. So mine currently says on the bottom right hand side of my display, Windows 10 Pro inside of preview evaluation copy, and that should disappear if the next build we get is actually the release version. Then that watermark should disappear.
Yes, you're right. Yeah, maybe that'll disappear then. That'll give us the clue.
Yeah, unless of course has been an insider build, whether or not that would then just stay. I don't actually know, but yeah, I think also was it this build where you could use, or was that the previous one? I think it's a previous build, wasn't it? 105.65 where you could actually use a Windows 8.1 key.
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
to activate. So I think that's going to be a good step forward. And one thing I did notice when I installed that latest build on the desktop PC, when you first log into Windows, you used to get we're setting things up for you, we're installing apps, we're nearly done. Whereas now it actually says we've updated Windows 10. And then it says something along the lines of all your files are exactly where we left them or where you left them.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I remember I've seen that on when we did the last update. So the update process as well went pretty smoothly. That these last couple of builds as well. I think that's it's been much better. And I still have the problem with the driver zone where on the Encore 8 the sound goes and you've got to pick an earlier through Device Manager, use an older driver, and on my test machine at work, it goes back into VGA mode because it doesn't like the graphics driver, and you've got to use Device Manager to change that back to an earlier one, which is a bit odd, but it works once you've done that, and no blue screen or anything on this time either. So I'm pretty happy with those, and yeah, it's close, got to be very close now. The texting works as well. The texting works between the mobile builds as well. That's quite nice.
Yeah, I think as you think you might have said, the main real issue on this Windows 10 Insider build was that if you'd been using the Skype app, you might lose previous messages or contacts, which I did notice on the desktop. I couldn't see my contacts list, and I did follow their notes about deleting a certain file in your app folder, but it didn't seem to resolve it. But yeah, I mean, as you said, the desktop builds, the upgrades do seem to go really well. It's still the mobile builds, I think, that are a bit hit and miss. I think there was an interesting one with that mobile build that got released the same day that you might get corruption in case you needed to change the desktop background.
Yeah.
Or rather, background image.
Yeah.
So yes. It does seem that those upgrades are still a bit flaky.
Yeah. So on the same day they released 10.5.8.1 for Windows 10 Mobile. And unlike the previous few builds, you didn't need to roll back onto 8.1 for this to work. So I didn't, just let it upgrade. And that went through quite well, actually. It did. There's still a bit of an issue around the progress bar. It was really bizarre, actually. It was on 0% for a while. And I thought, is this really doing anything? And I thought, no, it's not doing anything. Then it jumped to 21%. And then it stayed on 21% for well over an hour. Until the point, I think I started at work and then went home, and I thought, well, obviously now it's lost its connection, and it did eventually time out, and I did a retry, and it went from back to 0, then jumped to 21% again, and then it after about 20 minutes it jumped to 26%, and then from 26%, 63%, and then within like 30 seconds, it went to 100%, 0%, 50%, and restarted. And it worked then.
You'd think Microsoft would have good Wi-Fi in the buildings, wouldn't you?
You would think.
Yeah, you would think. Maybe people are trying to get the OneDrive files off the servers.
Yeah, that's probably what it is, yeah.
So, I thought that we're talking about the Windows 10 Mobile build now. The process was a little bit odd on the percentages, but it worked, and they did give a warning saying that you might have a black screen during the upgrade process and leave it running, but I didn't get that at all. It was fine. Yeah. And this build does feel even better than any of the previous builds. It feels very stable. I think the last build and then the one before that, I found especially around the Edge browser, pretty slow. It would reload the pages because it's kind of running out of memory on the 630, which isn't an ideal device really now. But this is much better. I do quite like that. I mean, but there's no really new features in it. They fixed things. Hey Cortana, I think they fixed if you upgraded from Windows Phone 8.1. Photo sharing now works.
I was going to generally put in and say you wouldn't expect new features now, would you?
No.
I mean, we've got 950s launching in a few weeks. They've got to get an operating system which works on them.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and I think this feels pretty much done now, and I'm really close to putting it onto the 1520, but I'm not going to do. I'm going to wait for the release version.
Yeah, I think the biggest of the known issues really was that about the default save locations not being able to change it, although it would keep your existing settings.
Yeah,
I think that was the only thing that held me back from trying on the 930. I think.
Yeah, I mean the thing that puts me off each time is the upgrade process, because there is that risk that it's just going to completely trash. And in fact, one of the notes, they do mention the notes that if you're missing some apps, I think you just have to flash it and not flash it, do a reset and it'll
reset and go back. Yeah.
And it's a bit of a pain on the phone. I find that I've done it a few times on 630, but I wouldn't like to get on my 1520, especially that it's got some authenticator app, and it's got a lot of stuff on it that is a bit of a pain to set up again. So that's what's held me back on that one. But it does. This build does feel quite close. But like you said, Gary, they've got to get a move on, because they've got to ship something on these 1520s that are due to 10th of December, I think, is the date that's ship date for them now, isn't it?
Yeah, in UK 950s.
Yeah,
950. So I have had my hands on a 950 this week. That's not under NDA, and very nice bit of kit.
Well, I think we did this. I have pre-ordered one. No, an XL, a 950 XL.
Yeah, the XL. I haven't tried the XL, but the 950 was, I have to say, was very nice.
And if you do order a 950 XL, although it's a little bit confusing on the website, you get a dock, the new dock for free.
Right. Yeah, I've got some information on that, and this is so when you get your 950, there'll be an app on it which you can run, which will then allow you to claim your free dock.
Right, that's how it can work. Yeah.
Yep.
So I mean, that's
nice.
Just
the 950 or the 950 XL as well?
I think it's just the XL.
There's some real confusion over that. I was told both, but whether that's accurate or not, I'm not totally certain. but somebody should have known.
Well, the website has the little box that comes up to advertising the offer when you go on the XL page, but not on the 950 page. But that doesn't mean to say they won't be offering it.
Yeah. Just reading through these release notes again, actually, there's some real significant fixes in there, which definitely shows they're almost on the brink of the release version. I mean, the dual SIM issues have been around for a number of builds now. The not being able to attach photos and third-party apps was in the previous build. There's the recording functionality. There's definitely some big fixes in there that definitely indicate. I mean, really, like I said, the only real big known issue was the SD card one. So hopefully the next build,
and that's fairly fundamental. They need to get that sorted.
Yeah. What worries me is that why I was almost tempted to put this on the 930 is that will they announce the same situation as happened with Windows 10 when that kind of hit in quotes RTM. They stopped people being able to join the Insiders program temporarily, so you couldn't install an Insiders build. So I'm just wondering whether or not it will be the case that if you're not on 105, if you're not on 105.81, it'll be too late to upgrade to the final one. So it's kind of, do you go here and take that risk?
Yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm seriously considering it.
Yeah, I think it's the upgrade process that worries me.
Yeah, I think it's the upgrade process, and if everything goes right, it's fine. It's just if it goes wrong, then you've got to flash it. I guess you can restore your backup as well, but I don't. It's just a pain. Entering your accounts back in and everything else. It's just on the 630. I've had to almost every other build I've had to reset, but I've got to say this last build it worked perfectly. Chippy asked a question: with Windows Phone 8.1 on a Lumia 830, if you enter the Insider program now, will it be a useful build? He said, it sounds like it to me. I think, Chippy, you're probably okay, actually. Like I said, it's just if the upgrade process goes pear-shaped, you've got to roll back. But
I think that's the only two things. If the upgrade process messes up on you, it's a bit of a pain. But also the storage card thing is the only other thing. If you're not using storage card, then I think it's a fairly good build.
I suppose if you're using storage cards, you're not intending to change anything as well.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're okay in that case. It's just if you're going to move things around, it becomes a pain.
But I quite like the build. But yeah, so talking about that dock then. So that's the 950. So I'm looking forward to giving that a try. Actually, the XL with the dock, but. You can actually order Microsoft haven't officially confirmed the price of the dock yet, but Mobile Funds, a third-party site, is taking pre-orders now for £70 for the dock, which I don't know. What do you think? It seems fairly reasonable.
It's a nice dock.
Yeah, I mean, you could say it's just a USB dock, but you know, it's USB-C. It's got DisplayPort,
Yes.
on there, HDMI.
DisplayPort HDMI on it, so it's a pretty good bit of kit.
Mm.
And I have had my hands on one of those this week as well.
I think also I think it's fairly priced given the target market. You know, these are, you know, the high end phones, and probably the people wanting that dock are more likely to be, you know, possibly business users. So
yeah,
I think I think that's maybe 50 quid would be a better price point, but I don't think it's unreachable.
Yeah. And their release date, I think, is the same date as the phone. It's just funny the Microsoft Store isn't offering the dock for sale yet, but maybe they'll wait to.
Yeah. That's because well, you don't need to set it for sale. You're going to get it for free.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. Maybe they'll just wait to get those orders fulfilled, and then they'll look at that.
Yeah.
Apparently,
I mean, we were talking. We were talking a lot about two docks situations, scenarios. So a lot of people want an extra dock. So I think they will get it for sale at some point.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was thinking. Is maybe I'd have a dock here on my desk at home, and maybe one at the office or something like that.
Yeah.
I think I might have to get a second screen now so I can an additional screen to test it to test that on.
Yeah.
But it looks nice. Apparently, the dock works with. Mobile phone think the dock will work with the new. I think it's the Acer one, isn't it? An Acer one that supports the dock.
But the JPrimo, they should do. I mean, it's USB-C anyway. I mean, the JPrimo dock has actually got a slot on the top to dock the phone into, which is a difference. But they are basically USB-C.
Mm. So I'm looking forward to seeing it, Renee. So December the 10th is when we should have the phone anyway.
Yeah. Mm. Right, guys, I'm going to have to go. I've got to go and catch a bus for my next session. So,
okay.
I'll obviously when I come back, I might have some things I can actually talk about. I'm trying to get some clearance on a couple of things to be able to talk about them. So, I'll let it. But I have to say, there's some really exciting stuff. I've had some behind the scenes information which has made me respect a lot more some of the things which go on in the insider program and the like, and some of the stuff, the efforts they're having to do. So I'm really impressed with that. But I will see you next week, or talk to you next week.
Yeah, talk to you next week, and have a good fun week.
Yes,
I will. Take care. Cheers.
Yeah, take care, Gary. Enjoy it.
Bye.
Bye. So there we are, Gary, live from Redmond, bringing us the latest news.
It's a good job he hasn't found that bug tracking device that we had installed.
Yeah, well, he'd be wondering why I gave him an Android phone.
Yeah.
And that's precisely what it was for.
So turning on the microphone.
Yeah, I've remotely turned that on now. So yeah, there you go. Did we talk? Talking about sort of mobile. I don't know whether we mentioned this when you're on the show last time, but they turned on gapless playback on the mobile version now for Groove.
Yes, I think we did. That's really important for certain types of music, particularly like compilation albums where they kind of mix the tracks together. And I think you mentioned like Pink Floyd and stuff.
Yeah. I wish the desktop would have that now. But I tell you what, using going back on 1520, I really do miss that gapless. It really irritates me now. That's probably the main reason I want to upgrade.
Yeah, I'm just looking actually so the Surface Pro 4 actually launched in the UK till November 12th, does it?
That's right. Yeah.
It's another date being banned around for me. Well, actually, Major Nelson announced today that's the date that the new Xbox One experience hits the Xbox One. So that's quite a coincidence.
Yes, and the band is available. I think the band pre-order ship. I think it's November 11th. So it all happens around them. I'll tell you what, I have recorded, and I probably won't have a chance to edit this before the show goes out, so it'll be after maybe the weekend, is an overview of the One Guide on the new Xbox because it's quite changed. It's changed quite a bit with this sort of they kind of bringing the apps together in there. I don't know if you've seen that where there's Netflix adverts and adverts for the movie and TV content within the One Guide section now.
Right. Yeah, I think because I think I mentioned they were talking about different TV apps, and I was saying about being able to scroll backwards in the guide to automatically play catch-up TV. And I think the comment I got back from one of the members of the team was that well, you can sort of do that with the way that the apps can integrate into the One Guide.
Yes. Now there doesn't. I've been testing, and there doesn't seem to be a lot of integration really. I mean, what would be nice if you had sort of BBC iPlayer integration or whatever, so that you could go back through One Guide and then it can see that this content is available from iPlayer or from iTV Player or whatever. But I didn't see any integration like that. There's a little bit of Netflix integration, but they were mainly banner ads for Netflix shows, which that's great. And they came up saying the X-Files. I thought, I'm sure that's not on the UK one. I've seen it on the American one, but not on the UK one. So I clicked on it, and then it takes you to Netflix and says that that content's not available. So there's a bit of work to do around that. But the other day I tried it and it did work. It wasn't that it was a show that was available in the UK, so they've got that deep link integration working, but it was just more of a banner on the page. But you can go to like a film guide and it'll show you films on like Film 4 or something like that, and films available in the movies and TV app. So they have kind of got the integration in there. So I think it's potential that it could do that, and with Netflix, iPlayer, and it'd be great if it worked with Plex as well. Your own content, so you had kind of a single place to have your own content. I think that would be nice as well. Maybe there's work for developers to do. They've got to open those APIs up for them. It'd be nice to see that One Guide sort of really be a hub. I mean, I'd use it then if it had Netflix and Plex and iPlayer and Freeview.
Yes, absolutely.
I just use it by default rather than going to the separate apps. Just a quick question there from Chippy. Does continuing work over Miracast? When they first demoed it, I think they talked about that being an option, but I don't think it actually is an option now, is it? I
think it does.
Right.
I'm pretty certain. I thought it could.
Yeah, and I certainly know they talked about it in the early demos of Continuum, but I'm not sure about the recent demos. I'll find out and we'll try it.
Yeah, I think actually, I think Gary mentioned it, didn't he? But he said that it couldn't display two different images. So with the USB connection, you can have something different on the phone than on. But because Miracast is actually mirroring the display.
Yeah, not a second.
I think you either couldn't use the display of the phone, or it just showed the same application.
Right. Yeah. I'll be. Maybe that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the things. That's one of the issues of Miracast. It's actually not too bad on a laptop or a tablet where you can have a second screen and you've got a keyboard and mouse. But it's useless on, say, a 7-inch tablet, and you do it as a second screen because you can't get your finger onto the second screen. There's no way. If you're extending the display, you can't drag your finger into thin air.
Yes. Yeah.
So that was one of the issues I had with that. I really just wish that they just thought they would have a way of these protocols to talk to each other a bit better, especially movies and TV and Groove. So maybe that's something Gary may have seen this week. I don't know, but certainly like so that from Groove on your phone, you could say, right, play. I want to start listening to this album on my Surface. It's on the same network, or I want to listen to it with your phone. You could say, no, play it on the Xbox. So, as a remote control protocol as well. It'd be nice to have that in movies and TVs and things like that. So I'd like to see a bit more of that really, but their own protocols and maybe their own apps, and get their apps on Apple TV and everything else, and actually start to make it a real system in its own right, standalone system in its own right. Chippy says Miracast does support second screen if the hardware supports it. So I think that's the issue. I'm not sure how it's going to work. And I know you can't do it with the earlier models. Maybe the 950s could, but I've got a feeling it can't. I don't know why. It's something I've got in the back of my mind, but we can test it. So what other news we've got this week? So when we last talked, we thought we might have Threshold 2 this week, but there were rumours of it being November 2nd. But it looks like that isn't the case. And I've seen rumours maybe next week. I don't know if you've heard anything different.
Sorry, say that again.
A Threshold 2 release date, no, not this week.
Yeah, certainly. Again, it seems to be a few rumours flying around about it. Again, it'd be November 12th. It seems to be
that would tie
building.
things together,
Yeah,
yeah.
It seems to be building up to be quite a big day for Microsoft. That one.
Yeah, maybe that's yeah. You're right. It all fits together, then, doesn't it? The Surface Pro 4 ships in the UK, the new Xbox dashboard. Because I suppose they can't ship. I mean, interesting actually. The new Xbox dashboard based on Windows 10. Is it based on Threshold 2? If it is, then they would need that to be finalized before they push it out.
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, certainly that's always been my understanding. And let's not forget that Microsoft originally scheduled or intended to launch Windows 10 in November time frame. They brought it forward, didn't they, by 3 months to kind of keep the OEMs happy. The first time I think since Windows 95 they'd met the back to school time frame for a new Windows release. So I think everything else has been really built targeting this Threshold 2 release, which as I say was originally going to be the big bang.
Yeah. So maybe that would be the right date for that. I've heard a few more things about the next release, the Redstone release. So I think we talked about last week, but some of the features like extensions and improvements to Continuum, so you can pass between your phone and your Windows 10 device, but that's all next year. So I guess we'll start seeing the first Redstone builds maybe towards the end of this year, like we did with the Threshold 2 builds. When did we get? Was it August? Was it the first Threshold 2 build after RTM?
I think it might have been into September.
Yeah, so maybe November. So it might be we might get one a build before the end of the year, maybe on that new build, new sort of path, but we don't know. I think it's going to be a bit longer. I don't know.
Yeah, I think my expectation would probably be early in the new year. I think they'd probably want to wind down for Christmas, and also, I mean, with the original Windows 10 release, they spent about a month releasing weekly cumulative updates. So I'd expect something similar to with Threshold 2. So I think probably my prediction would be next Insider build sometime in January, and I thought they'd probably aim for like a spring fall release schedule.
Yeah, maybe, and then we'll get some of the Redstone. Well, these I really hope that you can get some of these continuing features where apps are sort of pass between the states, between the mobile and the desktop, and it actually gives you a real reason to use Windows 10 mobile then.
Yes, definitely. I mean, I'm looking forward to Edge kind of evolving to that point where it's can be used almost exclusively, to the point where maybe you might be able to remove Internet Explorer, for me at least. I still find myself using Internet Explorer probably 80-20% of the time, purely because of the integration with LastPass.
Yeah, see, I only ever use Internet Explorer where there's an issue with Edge, with the page Edge, so it's once or twice a day, if that. I'm pretty much on Edge all the time now.
Yeah.
Metaphorically and
on the edge.
Yeah. Right, so we've got a couple of other stories just to finish off then. So let's see where we've got the doc. Got an update for Plex today for Windows Phone and for Windows, which is just some minor updates, but nice to see Plex continue updating their Windows versions. They've been pretty good at supporting Windows, and I've got a nice Plex server set up. I've got a Plex server and an MB on the same box. Actually, do coexist pretty well, actually, because I've been using both for the book, but to both have sort of merits in different areas, really. So I've been using both, but MB server's just been updated as well today, so that's quite good for storing your media. I'm just testing a Netgear Ready NAS as well, and you can put MB on Plex on those as well, so that'll be quite a cost-effective way of getting into sort of your own media server. You don't want to actually dedicate a box to it. You can use those. I know it's not got a lot of horsepower, so you can't do a lot of transcoding on it, but it's still quite nice to have one of these things. I actually got my home server out of the loft to rob the hard drive out of. Actually, not even, you remember the HP server, so I've borrowed the hard drive out of there. And if you got one of the new Apple TVs, the Plex have brought an app out for that, and BBC iPlayer is coming out for the new Apple TV as well. So if you've got an Apple TV, have a look at that. Oh, one final thing I do want to talk about is the Windows Media Center, or the Windows Media Pack for Windows 8 and Windows 8.1, which included Windows Media Center. If you were about to order it or were thinking of ordering it, well, it's too late because it's gone.
Yes, that was pretty short and sharp, wasn't it? It's I think it was. I saw your story about what, 2 days, 3 days before it actually went off sale. They certainly kept that very quiet.
Yeah, and I did get a comment on the post saying that actually they've been discouraging people from buying it. Somebody would try to buy it. I'll find the comment on the site. Somebody tried to buy it and had an issue with it, and spoke to their went through sort of the feedback program, and they could second line support, who said that it's not available. I think since the 31st of July they've not been releasing those. I can understand, why Media Center's not supported, blah blah blah, but yeah, it didn't. It soon went.
Yes, it certainly did go very quickly.
Yeah, so there's no option. We did. I mean, I know that in the office we brought the Pro Pack to get the Pro license from the Home license, but that included the Media Center. But it's quite confusing. I think you can still buy that Pro upgrade, can't you, for Windows 8 to get a Windows 8 Professional, but you can't get the media pack that goes with it.
Mm.
I think if you had the Pro, you could buy the Pro Pack with Media Center or something like that.
Yes. Yeah.
That was just the Pro Packs available. But, it's to be as expected, and really, Microsoft really don't want you to use Windows Media Player anymore. It is a thing of the past.
It is, yes, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know that people are still struggling for alternatives, but you can check out my post 5 alternatives for Windows Media Center, Windows 10, at MB, Plex, Media Browser, Media Portal, Kodi, all of those are alternatives. It's just the TV tuning part seems to be always the weak link, but seems a lot of people using set-top boxes now anyway, so it's more about your own media, I think, really, than anything else.
Yeah.
Right, well, I think that is about all we've got time for tonight. That's gone quick. I thought the OneDrive conversation might take a while.
Yes, yeah, I think that is a bit of a shame, but I think, certainly if you've got people using 75 terabytes of storage, then I think they had to do something, but at the same time, then don't announce it as unlimited, because people will take advantage of it. Funny enough.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so the usual thing, isn't it? If you're going to offer it, then make sure you can back it up.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we should be back next week, 9 p.m. UK time, GMT now, as we're now on.
Yes.
And hopefully Gary will be back. We can talk about what he's been up to there in Redmond.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. We may have a new build out. I've got a feeling. Here's my prediction: we'll have a build Thursday.
Okay. I'm not going to say anything.
I'm not sure. I think we'll have a desktop build this week. I feel like we should have. Maybe they'll go for both. I don't know, but we'll see. So we'll be back next week. So where can we follow you?
You can follow me on Twitter at DatabaseJace.
Excellent stuff. And Gary WMA for him. And you can find him at Fascinating Tech as well. I think that's all his links. So we should be back next week. Thanks to everybody that joined in the chat room, and Chippy that's in there. We'll be on YouTube. I'm at IS Dixon on Twitter, on our YouTube channel, and everywhere else. So we'll see you next week.
Cheerio. Bye bye.